When I think about Josh French, some very specific words come to mind.
Plays it over to French. Score! That was Josh French's first goal ever.
Character, leadership, selflessness. Somebody that goes out and sets an example of how to do things both on and off the rink.
God truly does use everything for the good. It's been such a blessing to kind of receive all of these things in my life and have God just bring so much fruit from them. Grew up in a Catholic family. Hockey was a big part of our family. My dad played in college. Both my older brothers played. My sister played as well. My earliest memories are just scooting around on the ice with one of the pushers and following my older brothers, wanting to be like them, being on an outdoor rink with my father, and he was just teaching me just some breakaway moves and face-off moves. I remember skating in our little cul-de-sac on rollerblades for hours and hours and just wearing down the wood sticks till there was no blade left. Just a place of freedom for me, whether it was on the ice or off the ice. In my senior year of high school, one game at, I think we were at South St. Paul, I had someone come up to me. They were a college coach, and they'd actually been watching me most of the season. I had no idea, and ended up being Minnesota State Mankato, and near the middle of that year, they offered me a scholarship. It was just a huge gift. From there, they asked me to play a couple years of junior hockey, so I actually missed my high school graduation to go try out for the Omaha Lancers, the junior organization that drafted me, and I made the team. And so I spent the next 2 years in Omaha playing in the USHL. Mankato had a great program during our time there. We won league championships and playoff championships, and we're ranked, in the top 5 in the country a couple of our years there. So we had a lot of fun on and off the ice, and a lot of team success with some really good guys. As I left high school, kind of had a lot of freedom as to how I spent my time now, living away from home. And so for myself, even though growing up in a Catholic family, I wasn't interested in the faith. I didn't know who Jesus was. I didn't have any sort of prayer life, or really kind of interest. And so as I left high school and had more freedom, I stopped going to Mass. I just kind of fell away from practicing the faith. I kind of found myself as I entered college just doing what everyone else is doing. I just desired to fit in, desired just to be liked, and so you find yourself doing what other guys are doing. So I relate to the prodigal son a lot. Luke chapter 15, the father has 2 sons, and the younger son asks for all of his father's belongings, and he leaves his father. He goes far away to live in a distant land, and that's where I found myself. I didn't want anything to do with God the Father, and I left him. I left the faith, and it wasn't until the end of my freshman year there was one of my teammates at Mankato who was in a Bible study, our 3rd string goalie, Aaron Nelson, and Ron invited me to Bible study, and at that time, I knew in my heart that I was searching for something. There's a deeper desire that was unfulfilled, and so I said yes to that Bible study, and those Thursday nights, they quickly became like my favorite night of the week. I was just so excited to dive into Scripture. We had a wonderful Newman Center at Mankato. We had great focused missionaries who played a big role in my kind of returning to the faith. Senior year, we're having a great year. I think we're maybe number 2 in the country. And at this time, I kind of have desires for the priesthood. I've had those for maybe a couple of years now, and also wrestling with this desire to continue to play hockey. Our team was doing really well, and we were gearing up for the playoffs, had high hopes on winning the national tournament, and that's when everything kind of shut down. Kind of found myself at a loss for what to do. Everyone kind of went their separate ways, not really knowing what was going on, and so I went from thinking that I might be in the national championship to continue to play professional hockey afterwards, to at home, and it was actually a huge blessing, during that time of unknown, and it allowed God's voice to enter back in. I'd kind of been ignoring it and a lot of noise. And so during that time where things slowed down, where there was silence, more time for prayer, God made it very clear that He was calling me to something more, to the seminary. And it's been such a gift just to say yes to that and to find myself here now as in my third year of seminary. Just it's been the greatest blessing, the greatest joy of my life. Everything gets to be a part of it, even all the hockey, just all the natural virtue that you kind of learn from being with your teammates and discipline and hard work and being on a team. All the hard things that you go through, all the suffering, having God use all of that for the good, and just the different ways that He's used me just to connect with people in other sports or kind of kids going through similar things. It's been such a blessing for me just for God to use my story in some sort of way to help others. When I got done with school, I said to myself, I'll never go back to school. And I'm signed up for 8 years of school right now. And I love it. Things became so simple and so clear and so easy to do God's will when I kind of took it away from what do I want or I need to know everything. I just find myself in a similar place now, even 3 years in. Just growing in the trust of God and His will and His plan for my life is so much better than anything that I have ever thought of for myself.